morning and welcome back to Plannercraft. I'm Natalie and today I'm going to be doing a little bit of mixed media card making. So the plan is, it hasn't, yeah, okay, yeah, I've got sound, that's okay then. Don't do that to me. So the plan is this morning we're going to be doing some mixed media card making with Pretty Gets Gritty, so that you can catch up with Lynette's show at 1. And then this afternoon we're going to be doing the card design with the swirly baubles that I put up at the weekend and some digital papers. So first of all, do you want to do the mornings, Ian?
Yes, we have morning Deb, morning Linda and morning Beatrice.
Okay.
Anybody else who's watching, please do say hi, let us know. Hi Tracy.
Okay, so because I'm going to be doing some embossing, I'm going to work on a separate piece of card and I'm going to be starting off with Unity of Flight. So this has a lovely set of wings in. You also have a couple of Union Jack inspired stamps and you have some work and number stamps which are great for doing backgrounds on ATCs.
And morning Jen.
Morning Jen.
You can hear me all okay then, over the back so.
Yeah, can you let us know if you can hear Ian okay? He's a bit far away from the microphone. So I'm going to take the wings first. Actually, no, scrap that. I'm going to go with my little halo first. So I'm going to turn my little Union Jacket into a halo. I'm going to grab my stamp platform, which Ian usefully put away last night, didn't he?
I got it for you.
That's okay. So we were doing some filming yesterday, weren't we? Ready for Christmas. So we had a fun time, didn't we? One of the joys of doing a pre-record is that you can do longer projects. So we did a very, very long project, didn't we, yesterday? And we've got another long project to film next weekend. Which may or may not take the whole weekend, it's that long.
Just says you can hear us both fine. So, Bitch says there's wings of the texture on them.
Yeah, they are fab. And you can really work into that texture too. So on one of the samples that I did with them, you can actually go back into your stamp with some texture paste and actually really build up that feathery texture. And if you do it with the wipeout that I use quite a bit, you get like a sparkle with it too. Really helps to make them glisten. So I'm going to start with my little stamp. Okay, so let's go that way. So I'm twisting it slightly so it's not the first thing you think isn't Union Jack, because we want to kind of do something that's shining. Hi Mum. So I'm going to press that down and I'm going to use an embossing pad. So let's go for, let's see if the dog craft want to do. Now, while this is going to take a little longer to do it this way, I'm actually going to do the stamping, then emboss, then stamp again, because I want to get that kind of gap between the two. If you don't want a gap, then just stamp them straight off. Okay. That's going to go off the top of there in a minute, Ian. The tub off the top of the machine. Not enough room on my desk. Okay. Let's put those on there for a second. Then I'm going to come back to my stamp platform in a minute. And I'm going to need my tidy tray. I just managed to get itself into my desk. Come on. go.
You don't use your big one.
Because it hasn't got the funnel.
Yeah, could make one.
Okay. See if we can knock that little string of embossing powder off. Let's just take that out of the way. There we go. And we're going to empty that back into our pot. So with heat embossing, there's very little that gets wasted. Okay, just going to set that to one side for a minute because we're going to be coming back to that one once we've stamped our wings. So I'm going to get my heat gun. I'm going to use it on high. Let it preheat first. Okay, so you can overheat gold powder, so you want to make sure that you don't go too far with it. There we go. So that'll do for that one. Now if it does warp your card at this stage, don't worry too much because we're going to be warping it some more when we start to colour it, and then we can flatten it all at the end. So come back in my stamp platform and take off the old stamp. So embossing ink is a little bit sticky, so in terms of cleaning your stamp you want to make sure that you clean it really well. Okay. You also want to let the stickiness of your cutting mat hold it down to as much as possible so that you don't get a smudge in your image. So I'm just going to move that across slightly. I want to try and get the centre of the circle here with the centre of the wings. So let's go a little bit higher, about there. And then we can position our magnets. So I'm going to do that right there where that bump is, just to press it down. Put another one there, and another one there. Press that one to the top there. And press that down. Good morning, Rachel. My director's just walked away, so. Everything alright?
Got Robin as well.
Yep, so hi Robin.
In Brisbane.
Sounds awfully warm. Okay, I'm going to give it one more press because if you look at it from the side you can just see it's got like these little bits where it's just missed. So I'm just going to re-ink those lines that I can see are missing a bit. And then I can stand up and put some weight on it. Bit better. There's just some bits there. I have to try and resist the temptation to do it with my thumb though. It's getting there. It's better than what it was. May have to do a little bit in the touching up in the colouring. So let's move off my magnets. So just in case anybody is wondering why I have a cutting mat on my stamp platform, that's so that if you're working with stamps that have coordinating dies, you actually cut your die cut first and then stamp on top. And the sticky of the cutting mat just holds it in place while you're doing that. Okay. I think the golden embossing powder might be nearing the end of its days. Might be one for using in the melt pot.
In the melt pot?
Yeah. Yeah, well in the melt pot it doesn't matter if it is a little bit damp, does it? So you can see we've got a little bit of stray powder, so I'm just going to get myself a little brush. Just going to brush that away. Didn't quite get the height I wanted to on the halo, but there. No, it doesn't want to go today. That's what I said, I think it's
Too cold.
had it.
Rachel said it was -1 this morning, but it was windy in the hall.
Whew.
Cold too this time.
Okay. So next I'm going to trim this down so I have a finished card piece to work on too. Because you don't want to be trimming it when it's wet or raised. So I'm going to go down just a little touch there. Let's move that back on there so you can see that bit better.
Do you want to try and adjust that one?
What's that? You have to ask me the question if you want me to answer it.
No, not answer it. Just say hello to the name.
Giuseppina.
Thank you. And Tracy said she didn't know that embossing powder could stop working. Is it because it's too old?
If it gets damp, if it's just old, so over time it will accumulate as much as it can out of the air. It will eventually go clumpy and it won't work as well. So like here, it's just not sticking to the card as well. But that doesn't mean that you can't use it anymore. You can use it in things like your melt pot instead. Or if you're doing enamelling techniques, which is where you build up layers upon layers upon layers of embossing. And I'm going to go for... I was going to go for wipeout again, but I think people are probably a bit bored of that.
Do something different.
Yeah.
Experiment, do.
It's a tricky one though, isn't it? Because I haven't got a goldy one. Let's go purple, shall we?
For us, let's go purple.
Yeah, for us, I'll go purple. I'm just going to use... You don't want to be using your best brushes for this bit. So, I'm sure we all have brushes that we think of as our messy brushes.
Trish, what sort of time span are we talking?
That one's probably the best part of about 20 years old. Plus, we're here in the UK, Tracy. Yours are going to last even longer because you don't get as damp as we do. Okay, so what I'm doing is I'm just building up the texture of the feather. So I'm just brushing it over. And you want to try and let it kind of squidge out the edges, if that makes sense. So that it builds up that kind of feathery, bumpy. So as I said, usually I'd be doing this in the wipeout, which is like a creamy colour with a gold tinge. But number one, you won't really be able to see it that clearly, so if I do it in this you can see it a bit better. And secondly, I've used it a lot, haven't I? So it's good to... Huh?
The wipeout?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a bit like pretty acoustic. Yeah.
Yeah, we did have a little smile when Lynette reached for that one this morning, didn't we?
We did.
It nearly made an appearance in the video that we were filming yesterday as well.
Yeah, Tracy says I do like that colour. It is nice, the purple.
Yeah, so that is Dazed, it's called. And it is a Pretty Out There. So the Pretty Out There is like a cross between an acrylic paint and a texture paste. So you've got this real strong hint of metallic, and as it dries you'll see that more and more. And then because it's acrylic you can also foil it as well. and it looks great foiled, doesn't it, Ian?
Mm-hmm.
We did a working with the Pretty Acoustic again, and we went on to black card with the days through the stencil, and then went over it with the Letraset foil that we showed on stream the other week, and that really pops. I'll let you. You can come on stream and show.
What was the purple one we did as well?
The purple one was the gel medium, wasn't it?
Yeah, what before over it was?
Purple foil.
So we did these. That's the purple one we did.
Yeah, so that's the clear gel medium with the purple foil.
And then we did that one too. And that was with the Letraset through the laminator.
Yeah, and if you look at the sides really closely, you can see the purple as like a hint of an outline.
It's very funky.
Okay. So the trick here is to not be stingy with your paint. So,
yeah, beautiful off Tracy, and oh, I love that off Rich.
yeah, so anything that you paint with that has acrylic in, whether it's acrylic paint, gel medium, some texture paste, can be foiled just by running it through the laminator with the toner foil rather than your foil quill one. If you do it with a foil quill, you just end up with a lovely bobbly background.
Like I did.
Yeah, like Ian did. Yeah. Okay, so I'm just going to try and drag this colour out right to the tips. And a little bit more on the end of me brush. There we go. So I'm going to let that one dry naturally. The other thing to note is if you try and heat that, because you've got these thicker areas, what it can do is it can start to bubble, which is great if you want to go for that bubbly effect, but if you want it to keep a nice even sort of bump, if that makes sense, then you're better off letting it air dry. Okay. I might even go with a bit of wipe out over the top of that, you know. Nope, I'm going to let it dry. I'm going to be good. Going to be good. So, can you stick that under some water for me? The other important thing is to get it out of your brushes as quickly as possible. You don't want to leave it in there. So while that dries, I can start work on another piece. So let's start off with a nice texture. So I'm going to go for Cracked Up, which is a nice crackle stamp. So if you want to try and keep your card a bit flatter if you're going for post, if you're using background stamps, that can really help you to add texture without adding any depth whatsoever. And bring my card back in. And the stamp platform. Yeah. Just so most of it gets out of there.
Trying to push it off the top, aren't
you? You keep it back in the way. Okay, so this time take my backing stamp and I'm going to work this way around. Just going to move that magnet slightly. And I can always cut into this. Okay. The other joy of background stamps is if you don't get a perfect impression, it doesn't matter too much. They're quite forgiving. There we go. So let's take that one out of there. I think I'm going to swap my gold embossing powder for a different one. Just so it heats a little better.
First, so at least you're dealing with that a little bit, don't you?
What I do want first actually is the glitter cloth. So a little piece of this goes a long way to making life a little easier. So this is like a sort of sticky waxy cloth, and it's great for getting out embossing powder and glitter and pigment powders and other fine powders that just cling to everything. Make sure you clean out the nozzle on your tidy tray as well. Okay. I'm going to go for the gold this time. So this is the Image Pack gold, which is like a sort of almost translucent gold. It's a really nice effect. And you can see even this one's a little. If it does that, don't worry, just carry on. Get that bit up there.
Morning, Delcy.
Just do a bit more on this edge just here, so I'm just going to move the card round. You'll soon start to see where you've missed little bits, if that makes sense, because they're like a duller sort of grey. There we go. Okay. Just empty off the screw thread a little bit there. Also helps when you're using them, because you do the sort of sifting when you do this stage. So that's the other advice, is just keep using them. Don't let them sit there. Okay. Also, don't leave them open when you're embossing, otherwise they're quite prone to getting blown around everywhere. What's that? That was last week.
until Wednesday, Delphi. It was that first class, so it should have really been there. If it hasn't turned up by Wednesday, let me know, and I'll sort out another one and send it recorded to start.
Okay. Just check from the sides that it's all melted where it should be. Okay. So, just going to chop that off a bit haphazard just now, and I can trim it up later. There we go. Going to give that one a dust over a bit as well. So there's lots of mica powder in that embossing powder. Right. Let's pop that back there for a minute. And I'm going to go back to my wings. And I'm going to layer those up on top. So we'll cut them from another piece of card and then we can 3D mount those. Yeah, running out of room. Thank you. Okay. Stick that back up in that corner. I'm going to go that way this time. Can you pass me the glue pad, please, Ian? And the re-inker. Just want to make sure it's getting a bit sticky, because I don't think the oven's sticky enough. So let's close that down there. So glue pad, you don't have to use heat with it if you're using things like mica powders, perfect pearls, glitter, but obviously for embossing we want to use the heat. I do tend to try and re-ink it every time I use it, so I'm just going to put a little bit on, then squidge it in with the nib.
Morning, Sarah.
Okay, so as the card gets smaller we can work a bit easier on the desk. So I'm taking my glue pad all the way over my stamp.
I don't just don't catch now because you've turned it around.
You can lean on it though. I'll let you. Okay. Can't go. Ow! Okay, should be right. Maybe a few little bits it's missed, but that'll do. And washi tape's come off my magnet. Another top tip for anybody who's got a stamp platform: wrap your magnets. Just makes them a little bit easier to handle. So I'll do that in a minute.
So Lou's asked how do you choose?
It's Leslie that's got the most issues, but oh, bless her. I do feel for her. I have lots of trouble in my teeth, don't I? But
I think you said you were suffering earlier again, you don't it?
yeah. I'm going to rate 2 this weekend, wasn't it? Lovely. Okay, so I might just put a little bit more on that top section. Okay. Just going to grab a dry brush and just sweep off some of that excess powder.
So Lou thought you had too thick too.
Quite often I do, but yeah. Dentists aren't my favourite people, are they, sweetie?
No. You'd rather suffer in silence than...
Yeah.
Oh, not so silent.
Oh, you wait. He says these things on air thinking that he'll get away with it. Oh. That's not concentrating. Naughty Natty. Okay, let's get a bit of the glittered cloth again on that. I have to say that was very well aimed by me there, wasn't it? Get it on the stamp backing. Okay. I'm going to sparkle for the rest of the day. Okay. I think that glitter cloth's going to have had it by the end of the day, somehow. I said I think that glitter cloth's going to have had it by the end of the day. Yeah. So just check it over using a light to your side just to make sure that you've got all your areas of embossing. If there's any that look a bit dull, they may need a little longer, or we may have gone too far. And I'm happy with that. So if that was done in black, I'd say I'll let the scan and cut do it. But just because it's done in this fairly pale gold, I'm going to end up trimming those by hand. So I'm going to go first of all for Let's go for these ones actually. So I'm going to make my normal scissors do most of the heavy lifting, rather than having to do it all with decoupage scissors as we're using thicker card, because I was planning on doing embossing, so I thought, well, you know, I'll go thicker. And then I can just snip out any little details with my decoupage scissors. Now with this stamp, because we've got these numbers, you have a decision to make whether you want to go around the numbers and keep them in, or if you want to go through the numbers so that you're all just cutting out the wings. I'm going to go around, I think. So I'm just going to go loosely to start with. So these stamps are great for any time of year, but I just think they're perfect timing for Christmas, aren't they really?
Do you have any questions while Natalie's doing her cutting out?
Oh, we will do competition announcement this afternoon. And
Yeah, because we still haven't looked at it properly, have
we have been rather busy this weekend.
we? We were very busy.
We haven't stopped, have we?
No.
Because Saturday we were, well, I was doing the book writing. Then Sunday we were filming all day. We had a little hiccup with filming, didn't we? When we got back, what, an hour in, wasn't it? And then
Dropbox did an update.
Dropbox did an update and it lost the entire hour of filming. At which point I went a bit mad, didn't I?
You did. That was all my fault. So even when we're not streaming, I get blamed for everything.
So when you're doing fussy cutting, you turn your work rather than use scissors, and you'll find it easier. Don't be tempted to go down to the tip of the scissor either, as that will cause it to do like a little kick at the end of the line, which isn't good. So if anybody has any requests that they want us to cover over the next sort of month or so, then do let us know. We're filming when we aren't streaming, aren't we, basically?
Trying to.
Yeah. So we can get a little bit of a collection of videos together.
So although we won't necessarily be working over the Christmas period, there may still be some lives going up.
Yeah. Or not so lives.
Yeah, well, they'll be pre-recorded, but
Yeah.
still be
Yeah.
streams coming up.
Yeah. Okay. There we go.
Is the filming for the new book?
No.
No, this is just you've all got something to watch over the Christmas period.
We are going out on Crafting with All Brands on Christmas Day. Scheduled to be confirmed. So I'm doing videos for that. And then we also want to have a few for our group too. And then I'm also looking at doing some for some of the other people that have helped us out throughout the year. So that's all on my to-do list. And then the book is, well, we're aiming for the end of December, aren't we? But I think that's optimistic. It's taking longer than we anticipated.
For recording, we use usually one phone, depending on what we're doing. If we're using the scan and cut, we'll use two.
Yesterday
we had 3 set up.
Yeah.
Because we have the GoPro, but it doesn't work very well, our little GoPro, does it?
Well, it's not even a GoPro, is it, to be fair?
No, it's a cheap one. And it doesn't work very well. So we just use the 2 phones. Then we have one. We use display capture for the computer when we're using the computer. But we run all ours through a software called Streamlabs, which allows us to put in the scenes and stuff. So we can actually set it so we can. So when we transfer between the cameras, it's a nice smooth transition.
Also handles all the graphics for us, so all the logo and stuff that you can see at the moment on screen. It's all Streamlabs.
And we also use that to do the recording as well, because the software has the recording built into it, so we can use it to record with, as well as doing the lives.
Okay, so you do have to make a few decisions when you go around the inside section as to where your cut line's going to go. And notice I'm also leaving a little tiny bit of a sort of halo around the embossing rather than cutting right up to it. That's because you can actually crack it off if you're not careful. But yeah, yesterday's video took 3 cameras, the display capture, and all day.
Looking to get a camera to do videos, I'm not sure what to go for, as the video took so long to download that I did for you. And if you've got, the way we do it, it records straight onto the computer for us, so we haven't got to re-download it then from the phone to the computer, which makes it a little bit quicker. So I'll drop you a message later, or we can have a chat later about the how we've got ours set up, and I can show you if you want how we have ours set up.
There we go. So we have our wings trimmed out. Okay, so when we're looking for contrast, it often looks better if we use like a drop shadow. If you're finding the shadow helps, then you know that you need to raise that layer up. But before we do that, we need to trim up our background so it's nice and neat.
Yeah, no problem, so we'll do that for you.
Okay, just because it's a bit gritty where I'm at, I'm just going to give it a quick clean. There we go. Bring my trimmer back in. Me? Why?
Because it's like 5 to 12.
I'm not the quickest today. It comes from somebody not letting me go to sleep till like 1 o'clock this morning. Well, gone 1 o'clock, wasn't it?
I let you go to sleep. Like, you didn't have to stay. I was to go to bed at like 12 when it was running over and over and over.
No, you didn't.
Yes, I did.
No, you didn't.
I did. I said, should we go to bed?
No, you did not.
Yes, I did. And you said you wanted to drink your cup of tea first.
Okay, so I'm going to mount that onto some gold. So let's go for that one. Sticking up. Maybe not.
So it's a gorgeous gold system.
Yeah, it's really soft. Let's grab a few bundles there. If I look at it from the back, then because I'm going to need some. There we go. Let's go for that. That's nice because then you've got 2 subtle sparkles. So I'm going to go for that one. I'll sort the rest of those out in a minute. Let's go for some double-sided tape. So if your card has cockled because you've used embossing powder, what I would say is go for an all-over adhesive. So like the adhesive roll that we were using last week. I think it was last week I did that. I forget what I've recorded for video to what I've streamed now.
Jason said that would look great with black cardstock, and Sarah Lou said, is it a do-craft?
The embossing powder, it's Image Pack Gold Luster.
And the gold cardstock is a paper mill director, isn't it?
Yes, it is. It is. May have to get another
sample pack. Not running out yet, dear. Trying to feed you up.
I do wish somebody would come out with like a bulk pack of just A6 card in loads of different colours and finishes and no holes. Oh, come on.
Sarah Lou says she's not heard of that one.
It came with the stamp maker kit, so it's Carol watching.
I haven't seen her this morning.
No, Carol was asking about how to make stamps, and
Yes.
the Image Pack stamp maker is a good solution, isn't it?
Yeah, we made some funky ones with that, didn't we?
Yeah. So let's go this end actually and take that all out of the equation. And I might even leave that extra around it. And look really nice to raise that up, wouldn't it? So let's go for, need to get some ultra thick 3D foam pads again. They were sticks too, weren't they? They're cool.
Sit back and find yourself.
Yeah. But they're great for popping up designs really quickly because they're like ultra thick. So what I will do is I won't stick these too close to my edges, and then I can actually curl my feathers. So for instance, I can curl this one up. So again, because we've got that embossing powder on, you just want to be a bit careful when you're doing this, so hence I'm only using my fingers, not an embossing tool or anything like that. And you're just going to gently just curl it like so. Just fluff them up a little bit. One of the other techniques that you can do with these that we've kind of run out of time to show you is you can actually cut in with a craft knife. You can actually lift individual feathers up as well, which really adds a lot of texture. Okay. Now it's time to take all these backings off. Now if only there was a quick way of doing these, that'd be fab. Okay, so I'm going to offset that way. And like you said, onto black card would look fab. So can you pass me some black card, Ian?
Black.
Yeah.
How much do you need?
Just go for one 12 by 12. It'll be fine.
Got a full sheet or?
Or if there's less than a full sheet. That might just be big enough. That's not bad. Could have done with a little bit more top and bottom, but that's okay.
Check everything. Give me a good box.
Ooh. Let's have a look. That might be better. So let's trim that edge up.
Yep.
And we'll go textured card. Which will be fab. So let's pop that there carefully. And I'm going to go for hoogie board. Foam folder. And let's go, I'm going to do one score line at 6. So halfway. and I'm going to do another one at 3. So I'm going to fold that first. Again at 3. And then I can do a nice easel card. So I just want to adhere my tape to the bottom half. Just going to leave that card there as a guide. So I want to keep it a little bit off the bottom. So I'm going to put my tape there. And a little bit on the sides. And let's go there. And there. Do-do-do. Oh, come on. It is not wanting to stick for me today. Come on, tape.
Clean you up.
Yeah, so much for easy lift.
No.
It's not working. There we go. So there we go. Do-do-do. Okay. So I'm going to stick that there. There we go. Okay. That's what I'm going to do to tidy up. Just going to get this card. Line it up. Do a little mark where I want to trim it. Okay. There we go. I'm actually working on a easel card kit for the scan and cut at the moment. So if there's anything particularly you'd like to see in that, then do let us know. Post up on the group. Come on. There we go. So I'm going to offer that up to there. Place it down.
Rachel says she did a video making envelopes of different sizes.
Oh yes, we can do that. Because there's a couple of ways that we can actually create envelopes on our scan and cut. Some are easier than others. Just going to trim that off there so we have a black border at the top. That matches our black border at the bottom. And then we just need to do a little stopper just there. So you can always use another little stamped image for that, or you can use some MDF. Ooh, what should I use today? What would be nice and easy? Can you see if there's a sentiment in there for me? Because it's a bit difficult for me to reach round.
Sentiment?
Yeah, like the little 3D pop ones.
I can run by you here and we can rummage together.
There we go, yeah.
Sorry,
Watch
folks.
the cable. Oh. Actually, let's use these. This could be fun, because trying to find the letter you want in these is always tricky at best, isn't it, Ian?
Mm-hmm.
And I usually recommend using a tidy desk for this. But let's go for there's a T. The one you want is always going to be the one that hides.
What are you looking for?
No. If you feel like got that. There we go. So got a star. So we can you just hold that back there for me, Ian? And then we can just use a little bit let's go for some red tape. You want something with a bit more oomph, so it's one of those ones where I'd usually say go red liners tape and PVA 2, but for now you're right. You lost the bass off your microphone. How did you manage to do that?
And it fell off and it's just...
It can't have vanished that far.
I don't know where it went.
Oh boy. So, this afternoon is going to be more of a digital one.
You've got a computer for that one?
Yeah. Yeah. I'm going to try and give the scan and cut a rest if I can. But I may make it tomorrow morning so that you can see it being put together. We made it work hard yesterday, didn't we, really? have to say, one of the most complicated projects that we've done with it, and at the end it looks really simple. But it took scan and cut and it took dyes. Okay. You still can't find it?
Oh.
It can't have gone that far in. It's quite weighted. You'd think you'd notice when it went on the floor. Okay, so I'm going to start from my middle point and work outwards. So our two middle letters in this case, because it's an even number. Can you hold that straight for me, please, Ian?
Well.
He says the trouble is I've only got two hands. One of those is holding the microphone. So I'm just going to pop that.
Let go.
Oops. There we go. There's always one, isn't there? Come on. Go on, Neville. Okay. So that means then that when we put our sentiment on here, we can make it so that it reads as one sentiment and it's actually open. Nope. Definitely not. I don't know if you managed to lose that, Ian, because now you understand there holding the microphone. Didn't go in the bin, did it?
Oh.
No. Seriously.
I'll find it when we finish.
Okay. So what we'll do is, using the spare strip, we can actually stamp our sentiment in white. And I did put out the... There we go. And we have URA, which is what we want. Huh? Let's go for that one. And just because it's just a little stamp, it's just easier rather than getting the stamp platform back up. Just get a little block. If it doesn't fight back, stop sticking to me. There we go, do it that way. Get the white ink.
I can see it.
If only you could see what I can see from here. Ian's invented a makeshift stand. So I'm just going to stamp that there. Now, because we've used the stamp block, you don't want to be trying to redo that, so I can go. When you design a needle card, try and design it so both when it's closed and when it's actually popped up. And then they can read it either way, so it's you're an angel or you're a star. And trimmer just to trim up that last little bit. I'm just going to use my little trimmer because I'm running out of room.
Jess, you're still using the purple textured wing still?
Yes. Yep, that's for a different card. Yeah, I may finish that one off later, you never know. Poor blade's like, ah. There we go. So I may take that actually over to that side. Or just actually like that. Like that, Natalie. Leave it as is. Don't fiddle. Don't fiddle.
Because you as a fiddler.
Yeah. Now I wouldn't usually use red tape to stick this particular piece, but it just happens to be the right size for the strip. So what time are we on? Have I got time to mind you, is it set yet? Might have to come back and do that one tomorrow when we do the other card as well, so we'll have putting together session. And then I have a decoration session in mind for tomorrow afternoon. And there we go. So if I turn, which way is best for the camera? Does cameraman want to come and tilt the camera for me so that you can see that one a bit better? Oh, I was going to say tilt the phone. You watch on screen, I'll angle.
Thank you, that's cool. It's a bit closer.
A bit closer, isn't it? Let's zoom back out a bit. There we go. Then you've got plenty of room for stamping a verse if you want to, or writing a message. There we go. So we will be back at 2 when we will be doing some design work, and we'll be starting off in Affinity. So if you haven't got Affinity yet, you can do a free download, but you've just missed out on the Black Friday deal, so you may want to wait till after Christmas to purchase. If you did get Affinity, we have an intro course that will be running in January. Can't remember the date, but it's in January. So take care and we'll see you later. Bye.